All right, thank you for staying with the Monday Report Town Hall session. We're still talking about what is ailing Nairobi and what the solutions are. We see a lot of your feedback coming through. We asked you, how should Nairobi be fixed? What do you think should be done to fix Nairobi? At Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Hashtag Monday Report 22422 is the SMS line. Let's hear from Nairobians themselves what they think the problem is and how to fix it. I'll start with you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Hold the mic closer to your mouth. There.
My name is Akwaji David Chelula. Very quickly, I want to say the Nairobi that we want a total repart, a new repart, where we have to make clear decision between we want Nairobi to be an economic city, as we have had, or an administrative city. That is number one. So that we make our policy or planning around the same foundation. Okay. That is number two. Number three, we need to clear policy directions in terms of moving Nairobi forward. Okay. Number four, finally, we also have to integrate. I have heard about the Nairobi Development Integration Program. We also need to integrate the Nairobi citizen. Okay. All right. There's a microphone back there. Let's hear from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm Tinega Damasen from National Youth Council and a director of a Youth Empowerment Solution Initiative. My take very clearly is on the Nairobi we want. First of all, I want to thank you, Astrija, for bringing back the history of 1980s back to this show. But I will request, before going to direct, that this Nairobi we want, can we make it a talk every week? Because I think it will help fixing Nairobi back. Okay. Because during those days, this conversation was there. Where we went wrong, I want to reflect the formation of Nairobi 1899. The first leadership of 1923 to 1927 onwards were very well in this CBD. Yeah. The problem or the rain started beating us 1970s upwards, up to date. Things started going the way the politicians want. We have over 11 slums in CBD created by perhaps whatever Mzee Wangu have just talked about. Yeah. And this one is because of not lack of policy. I want to repeat this by emphasizing it. It is not lack of policy. It is because of selfishness of our leaders. Number two, our education system collapsed, so that the leaders that we have in the county assembly are just, when you look at, since the years I'm talking of 70s, yeah, we have a lot of illiteracy in the county assemblies or the so-called city halls. Okay. So whatever they're deciding or whatever they're thinking is to loot okay, public funds, because they have no idea of development or whatsoever. All right. Lastly, I want to fix something here on health and so on. The Nairobi we want is whereby the health facilities can have proper, smooth functioning and medication for the poor, because we've created them to the slums and we are just killing them within the slums.
Got it. Keep your comments brief, please. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My name is Michael Mungai. I'm an economist by profession, also the Secretary of the Economic Liberation Front. Now, I have 3 quick observations here and solutions. And one, I've not heard anyone mention of the population pressure in Nairobi. Population pressure in Nairobi is the main cause of the strain of the resources that we have here. The problems that you're talking about here, you realize that the city in its geographical state continues to absorb more and more population. What that translates to is a strain on the available resources. Now, as the strain in the services which can be offered to these people come, there's another bigger problem that comes in. Because the people who bring in this population, which come more and more, are politicians. Now, this provides a conflict between the planners and the people who are there. And that is why Mr. Mweke talked about the planners have the good idea in mind, but the politicians, on the other hand, have another bearing on it. Now that is bringing what is known as a conflict of interest. So we did a sessional paper as the ELF, and maybe we are going to be talking that with the KEPSA. And we say that among the things that we need to focus when you talk about Nairobi as the city itself is about the planning has to go vis-a-vis with the population growth. Over the years, do we study the population growth patterns so that in terms of the services, we can be going in the same way? The population is this, it is going this. The people who come in, the people who get out. Now that population has grown because of from rural to urban migration.
Okay.
Unless we tackle the problem of rural to urban migration, we cannot be able to solve all those problems you're talking about in Nairobi.
All right.
Thank you.
Pass the microphone to him very briefly, please.
Thank you so much. I'm James Njoroge, Kwito Karatina. By the extension, I stay in Nairobi.
Okay.
To me, I'm also a political leader in Nairobi because I vie in the Dagoretti South. So I understand a lot of Nairobi politics and administration. This is my quick take. I'll say this way. I agree with former Deputy Governor in Nairobi that whatever is affecting Nairobi is we don't have planning. And we are lacking orders. Because Nairobi was planned. And you are also forgetting actually what was the foundation of Nairobi. Nairobi was not agricultural town. It was not it was administration and industrial town. And actually, we are the planners. Those who plan Nairobi, they plan in order. It's only that we politicians, for example, in the Dagoretti South constituency, I go to the crowd, I ask them, what do you want here? They tell me they want an hospital. And if I want to build a hospital there, in the initial plan, it should be a sewer line. So those are the kind of the influence we are talking about. Then secondly, what we have to know and we have to agree. My brothers and my fellow citizens who are staying in Nairobi. Nairobi just recently hosted Air Force One landed in Nairobi. Then Nairobi should be a town or should be a city. It's like it should be a Titanic of all towns. Nairobi town should be, or Nairobi center should be like New York to me.
Got it.
So we the politicians, we are the one messing up Nairobi because we are not differentiating. We are not separating the politics and administration.
All right, pass the microphone behind you and let's hear a brief comment from you very briefly.
Okay, thank you so much. This is Victor Opiokelo, the National Youth Sweetheart. What I want to say is very brief and clear. The main challenge to all these problems is poverty, high poverty rates and ignorance. So what I want to say, there is the rich, the medium class and the poor. So we need to minimize, to reduce this rate, the amount of the poor. As you can see, let me give you an example. If, for example, the Kenyatta National Hospital, if it's make a referral center for Eastern and Central Africa, so that the government will bring doctors from maybe India to cure cancer, all those professional doctors, I guess you understand me. So in case they're built here, there will be this will promote economy in these ways. Like there will be come up of several hotels and restaurants. There'll be, so in that, if somebody is sick in Rwanda, he's bring here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Mr. Ngacha, what do you think are the solutions now? How do we fix this system? You've been there. The very good solutions that have been given.
The problems in Nairobi belong to us, the politicians, and these people. These people are responsible of giving very bad leaders in the city hall. Very bad leaders. Not because they are competent, but because they have been given some money. And also, the leaders who are there actually are disgraced, they're ashamed. They should actually feel very much ashamed that they seek to serve the public, whereas when they go there, they go to help themselves with public utilities. Now, this is because people have lost the basic concept as to why you have city governments and why they have evolved. City governments have evolved because they were meant to provide services to the people. And the first people who got involved in this business were volunteers. Just like you have the neighborhood associations, that is how the city government started. But today there's so much confusion as to what it is that you want in, for example, in City Hall. When you are seeking leadership, what do you want to go and do? Do you have a work plan? For example, for the current governor and others who are passed. Have they had a work plan that when I go there, this is what I will do to finances? These are the sources of income for Nairobi City Council. This is how I'm going to collect the money. These are the problems that they are facing as of now. This is why they cannot be able to collect. This is what I will do, what I will ask the council to do to help me to be able to collect this money. Now, when you get into a job and you just want to have a seat, sit on the seat, call yourself this title or the other title, and you do not know what is required of that seat, you have no business being one of us.
Okay.
You should stay with your wife and your children at home.
Okay.
And let other people who have got the capacity come up and do something for the people.
Okay.
Let me give you a very typical example. You have a market, very bad planning by the Nairobi County government. We have a very good market at Kenyatta Market. First class. Today is like a mall. All right? It has beautiful setting. It's been given that setting by the president.
Yeah.
The deputy president has given it water. But before you get to the market, there are shades right round the market. And nobody's talking about these shades.
Yeah.
And these shades are housing our own people. The county government has the capacity to do very well structured kiosks there that are appealing. One corner you have some guys cooking using almost sewer water outside.
Yeah.
You are likely to have a very serious epidemic in the market.
Okay.
Unless you first of all manage what you have.
All right.
Then you send your askaris there to go and charge for tickets. And you build the market.
Yeah.
And you've asked people to stay in the market so that they can generate money. And then you come with your askaris and tell them, stay here and collect taxes. Who is going to pay 300 shillings to go and eat a kilo of meat for 150 shillings? So there's a time we removed those askaris there.
Yeah.
Now today they are back there.
Okay.
I don't understand that common sense, whether common sense is actually common everywhere.
Okay. All right. Mweke, what do you think? What are the issues here now? Yeah. How do we solve it going forward?
Trevor, just allow me on a more serious note to get a little technical, because having a functional global city is a science. And there's organizations around the world that measure livability of cities. Yeah? And they measure it on about 5 or 6 attributes. One is safety. Are the people safe? Number 2, education. Can children go to school and get an education? Number 3, healthcare. Can you go to a hospital, get treated, and get medicine when you're sick? Yeah. Number 3, transport. Can you go in, out, and around the city with ease? Number 4, environment. Do you have sewer systems that are functional? Do you have solid waste management processes and procedures that are okay? So, and it's a science. People actually measure based on points on if your city scores this number of marks as a report form, and then they tell you your city is the best in the world or the worst in the world.
But you knew all these things, Mweke. How come you couldn't do it?
I'm coming there. I'm coming there, Trevor. I'm coming there. Just give me a second. We want to solve some problems.
Yeah.
So let's just go step by step. Give me 3 minutes. Okay? Now, seeing that you have to get these things working for your city to be a functional city so that all of us can live well, and there's another thing that's measured that's called a happiness index. Yeah. So we can be happy and proud to live, work, invest in this city, right? So for you to be able to do that, you have to do the service delivery that Worship here was talking about. You have to build the hospitals, you have to build the roads, you have to make sure there is order within the city, you have to build the hospitals and put medicine in them. You have to plan the city well and make sure that everybody follows the law and the planning systems. All right? Now, who does that? It's the leader. Okay? You can't expect a manager to do it or a CEC to do it. Right? You only have one leader in every organization. Even in your house, you only have one leader, like you saw our friend, Internal Security Minister, say the other day. So if I was the governor of Nairobi, what you need to get all these things working is policy documents. And somebody spoke about policy documents here. The easy part is that they exist. When we had Nairobi Metropolitan Ministry, headed by the late Mutula Kilonzo, he came around and worked with stakeholders, including the private sector and other professionals, and they came up with a Nairobi Metro Plan till 2030. Yeah. Fabulous strategy document. When we came in, Governor Kidero's administration. We got a Nairobi strategic plan from 2015 to 2025. Gentlemen and ladies, it addresses all the issues we've spoken about here, right? Then there was the Nairobi Integrated Master Plan, the first master plan that integrated all the aspects of our lives into one plan.
Yeah.
Before, Constant Cap will tell you is a planner. Since 1900, when Nairobi was born, you only did a master plan based on development control.
Yeah.
Now this one did development control, integrated your energy, your water, your roads, your ICT, your environment into one.
Why weren't they implemented? That's the part that
I'm getting there.
stuck on.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous strategy document.
Yeah.
So we already have the plans to solve all our problems. Again, the leader must be able to implement them. To implement them, the first thing is good governance. We've spoken about it. Do you have a leader who's competent enough, who can do the work, who can understand that a strategy document is not kizungu mingi?
So Mweke,
it's something that can actually...
Mweke, sorry to interrupt you
No,
now.
I'll answer your question. Just give me a second.
The governor and yourself came as a pair of the executive. You're
Correct.
the closest here.
So are you saying we had two governors of Nairobi?
Are you saying you failed? Let's start from there.
Well, our administration didn't achieve what we tended out.
So you failed.
Whatever. And we got voted out as a response.
So
that's fine, yes. But Trevor, you're not having this show.
Yeah.
You're not having this show to apportion blame.
No.
You're having this show
for solutions.
You know, even us over here, our time is now pretty much gone.
Yeah.
We're having this show so that we can build a city for our children.
Yes.
And guys, it can't be a laughing matter.
What we need
and
to
it can't
know,
be who failed or who didn't
what
fail.
we need to know is
What
why
we
did
need
you
to do-
fail and how can the current administrative fix it?
Okay.
That's how we find the solutions.
Now,
This
if
is
you cut me
where the
short
problem
every
was.
30 seconds,
Yes.
Trevor, I will not be able to communicate to these good people and the millions of voters who are watching you on TV today.
All right, how do we solve it?
Capital
Let's keep it
city, it's
simple.
extremely important topic. Because we need the capital city to function. We need this young girl here to get a job. And saying that Mweke and Kidero failed will not give her a job.
Fair enough. How do we fix it?
How you do it, you
That's
get
the
good
question.
leadership in place. The leadership in place that we have right now comes from the voters. We've identified that the voters sometimes are challenged economically and they get bribes to vote in bad leaders. So how do you fix that? My suggestion would be, because there are some elections that are too important to be left to the voter, why don't we vet from the political party standpoint? If today ODM and Jubilee, which are the two parties that would produce a governor in this city, gave you very competent people at the ballot, it wouldn't matter who wins. You would get a competent person to run the city.
Okay.
So since you don't want to trust the Mwananchi at this point to vote for you, your competent leader, let the political parties come up, party leaders take leadership, and have a very thorough vetting process to ensure that whoever gets voted as the governor of Nairobi can do the job. That's the first one. The second one is if you give somebody a job, you must resource them.
Okay.
Nairobi, as it's resourced right now, even if you bring Obama, who's been the best president in the world, Trevor, to Nairobi, he will fail.
Okay.
Why? 30 billion shilling budget, 18 billion goes to salaries, another 10 billion goes to operations and maintenance, your petrol, your electricity, your allowances, your everything. It leaves you 2 billion shillings to solve all the problems these guys have spoken about. It can't work.
I
So you
really,
have to resource
have
them.
to take a break,
Hold
but
on.
I'll come back and give you a chance to
I
wind
have
up.
3 more things, then we wind up.
Let me come back after the break.
Okay.
Let me take a quick break here on the Monday Report, and then we come back and wind this up and also hear from the people here. Keep the hashtag Monday Report. I'll see you in just a bit.